That's pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
How much coverage does it provide?
$1.2 million each.
Wow. Yeah, that's really good.
And that way, everybody's protected. No one's, pointing fingers at anybody. Chamber's already got their policy. They're really not, it's not, it's, yes, they're putting on the event, but that person that's owning the proceeds from the bar, which is the money, comes from whatever charity chooses to do it that.
And you don't have as much of a headache because you don't have to worry about the money and what you're doing, and that's up to you to keep running the bar. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've been trying to streamline it, get it organized.
Hello.
Ew.
We have one more, and we have 2 minutes to go. Still no quorum. How are
You're in
ya?
great shape for just having a baby.
I was gonna say, how's the new baby?
I just got thrown up on before I came here.
Oh, lovely.
I think Kelly was in the parking lot.
Hope so, she's presenting. Is this your first?
Second.
Second.
Yeah, we've got a 2-year-old and now a newborn, so it's been 6 weeks now today. Yeah.
Time flies.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's just your thunder.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really dark out.
Is it? Oh, good.
No, not good. My puppy's in his crate and he hates thunderstorms when he's
Oh,
by
yeah.
himself.
Plants.
I know my plants need it too. Steve had appointments down in Jupiter today, so he's on his way back. I'm like, I got a 5:30 meeting. TikTok, buddy.
Yeah, everything now looks like it's moving northwest away from us, so we should be in the clear.
We need a little bit of it.
Just a little.
Just a little.
It's enough to make the weeds green again. Oh dear. I'm concerned that maybe people got mixed up about moving the meeting last time and thought it was for this month.
Oh, right. Well, I think
Well, you got the email that gave the
Yeah,
agenda.
yeah. Just seems a little late.
I think Brian and Paula had mentioned they were both
Yeah.
going to be out this week.
Right.
So if we don't have a quorum, we need to open the meeting. Say we don't have a quorum and close the meeting. So,
Okie dokie, boss.
okay.
Means we have a long reading next time. We'll have to cover 4 sections.
Either that or move it out another month. In other words,
Right.
just do what we normally do and then be one more month to finish your work.
Well, mine's very, very short.
Well, I mean the group as a whole.
Right, I know.
Okay. All right.
Except for that city attorney stuff, I don't know.
Gee whiz, I don't know about that section.
He's complicated.
He is
Wow.
a tough nut. A really tough guy. Then we don't have to worry about postponing Brian and stuff either.
Right. Just be.
Did you hear from either Rochelle or Ginger?
I only checked my email, but
Hopefully they're okay.
or Kelly. I thought you said Kelly was down there.
Yeah, she was. There she is.
Okay. Hello.
Traditionally 5?
It's up to you. I would wait 10 minutes
10? Okay.
in case there's some traffic problem or that storm is an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that storm's a coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we don't have enough, we're just gonna have to open and close the meeting, so.
Need uno más.
Did you get my email today?
I did.
Something in my mind made me think it was this one, not next. And I saw it.
Well, that's Dan's drawer, right?
No, this is my drawer.
Is that your drawer? Who's-
That's the
Oh,
mayor's.
that's that.
I can't read the note.
It
Is
says, hi, Eric, Sandy.
it? Okay. Good for you. Let's see if he opens it.
He's got his cough drops. A multitude of pens. Never know when one's gonna run out of ink.
So school is out now, right?
Not for us, we have 2 more days.
2 more days.
Wednesday's our last day, yeah. Can't wait.
You didn't mention the code enforcement board, by the way, when I asked you about your boards.
When you said other, I thought you were saying outside of the city.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, it was all boards. A lot of cities have shifted. They're not doing code enforcement boards anymore.
Mhm.
They hire special magistrates to hear everything.
I do. I'm gonna go
Going.
to Tennessee.
So all the smaller
All
cities
my
are doing it
adult
that way.
kids will
Really?
be there. One's
And I think
fine,
Dunedin is
so
gonna
it's
change
gonna be a lot of
after
fun.
Are you
And
renting like a
35
house or
years. They're
cabin?
gonna go that way too.
Cabin, so have all the
What's your feel on
grandkids
that?
there, all 4 kids, most
Ridiculous.
of the spouses and
Because
my
it's
mom, and so
expensive
we'll
to hire
just
special magistrates.
all do different things,
know,
but
'cause I am
also the
one.
same thing. And we're just
And
all
when you
really
have
looking
people that
forward to
want
it.
to
Are you going over
volunteer for
the
that,
4th of
why
July
not let
holiday
the
or not
residents
related?
do it?
No, more towards the end of
Um,
July. So.
I really
But
think
it'll
there should
cover
be
my
resident
oldest two's
code
birthdays.
enforcement boards and not
Right, so
special
that's pretty
magistrates.
fun, and
They could run $3,000 to $5,000
We're
a
going
month
to
for a
Pennsylvania,
special
where I'm from,
magistrate.
this summer with my
When
mom.
we're doing it as a
just kind
volunteer
of-
position.
Yeah.
Holy cow,
A
that's
house on the
crazy.
lake,
Because
some
it has
tool
to
around
be,
town and
the special magistrate has to hear the case.
fun stuff. We haven't been there back there for a
But
few
he's
years.
gotta prepare
so-
for it, he's gotta hear it,
was there
he's gotta
in,
issue a
when I was a
ruling.
little kid, right? But of
And
course,
then,
all I
you
remember
know,
is
if there's
Hershey,
anything else that comes up,
Pennsylvania,
there,
right?
yeah.
So
The
you're
Hershey
charging
Kiss
whatever,
street
$200 or $300 an
got
hour.
candy at the end.
It doesn't take very long to get 10 hours in, so.
We've been to Hershey too, but we're
That's body, that's
the
a,
north,
$40,000 salary.
northwestern
yeah.
Yeah,
tip
I
by
mean-
Erie,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
between
okay.
Erie and Pennsylvania.
Plus, I think that with having residents do it,
Erie
you've
and
got those
Pittsburgh,
life
huh?
experiences, other than the
When was the last
lawyer.
time you went back there?
You know,
Do you go
hearing
there
a
every
case, you
year,
get all these
or-
life experiences and
When my
your
mom
neighbors
still
and
lived there,
And
we
you got
went
history
every
like Babe, she's
summer,
got, you know,
but
how-
then she
history,
moved
You
Yeah.
got
down
history
here.
of
My
the
dad
city,
passed
you know,
away
how the city's
fell-
philosophy
fell
works and
down.
how, you know, and it's like the
My
woman we
nephew-
had,
she
remember
held
the
out and
woman,
stayed up there
the
a
deaf
little
one
bit
that
longer,
has so
but
many
she
problems?
had a lot of acreage.
What
and
would
it
that
was
on
too much
paper
for
look
her to
like
do.
versus, you know,
So she
actually
moved
knowing what she's going through and people trying to help her and the
Or
community
poor,
coming
yes.
together and,
And we only went
I
one
mean-
time since
Yeah,
she's
I-
been here, so
But
now that she's here, we
sometimes in
don't
the
go
smaller
there to
cities,
her,
they
you know.
can't
Right,
get
right.
enough
But
people
Fallon will have a good
to
time because you see the lightning bugs,
wanna
right?
do it.
Yeah.
You get lightning
Because
bugs here.
Any quasi-judicial
that's
board
right.
where you're making a legal decision,
Yeah, she'll have a blast.
people, a
Oh,
lot of
it's
people
probably
don't
gonna be
wanna
loud. I
be
bet that's
involved.
also where the cicadas are also. Maybe
Oh,
on
When
the
you're issuing
northern end of
fines
it,
and that
right?
type of thing, yeah.
And all kinds of night noises like frogs and, you know, all that fun stuff.
You guys have loons out there?
What?
Loons?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, and Canadian geese, that's the big bird is Canadian geese.
Pennsylvania.
PA.
Maybe wait 2 or
That's
3
where
more
I'm from.
minutes and then, okay.
Okay.
I heard a dingling.
Is that when it recognizes someone's walking through the door? Is that what you're talking about? Okay. Yep, here we go. Yay!
Yay! Irish.
We have enough.
Yes.
Okay.
For a copy of the charter, do you? Could I have one? I left my binder on my kitchen table.
If we'll all rise, call the meeting to order of the Monday, June 7th, 2021 Charter Review Committee. Start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Open the citizens' open forum. Since there is no one here, we'll close the citizens' forum. I need approval of the minutes from the May 3rd, 2021 meeting.
Approved.
Have a motion? Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There was some question with regard to section 6.02 last month brought by Brian, and since Brian isn't here, I think we should table that discussion until next month when he returns.
Okay.
Okay? And we'll go into Article 4, which is my section. So let's start. As far as, when I went through, what I found was in section 4.04. It talks about, in absence of the city manager by letter filed with council, the city manager shall designate a qualified city. Now that we have a assistant city manager, I felt that wouldn't that be more appropriate to say?
Normally, unless she's out of the office too.
Right,
So if you leave it as city administrative officer, that can cover
that would cover,
any
okay.
situation.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what, that was, I wanted clarification on that, so we're okay there.
So for example, Felicia was just on vacation in Michigan and Al was there. If Al was sick or had to go into the hospital, what would we do? And more than likely, he would appoint, for example, Ann
Okay,
to take that position for whatever short period of time that was. If we nail it down to just assistant city manager, then we don't capture that situation
when they're both
when they're both
Okay.
unavailable, right?
All right, I wasn't sure whether it needed to, since I know this was done prior to us having her, I think.
It was a long
Yeah,
time ago.
So,
but,
okay.
yeah.
I had no question with regard to 06. In 4.07, this is another question for you, Tom. Is the language where it states fitness demonstrated by examination or other evidence of competence? Is that proper wording still?
Let me read the whole thing.
I had concerns like fitness demonstrated from an ADA compliance situation where you're saying appointments and promotions are done, but then that's just,
Yeah, I don't think that the word fitness is referring to physical condition. I think it's fitness as in overall qualifications and skill set.
okay.
But, if you want to suggest a change of that language to address that, I mean, this is the time to do it, yeah.
Just say qualifications instead of fitness.
Okay.
Demonstrated, established, by examination of other evidence of competence. You guys comfortable with that?
Okay.
And really, that was really my only things that I found. Anyone else?
Mine was, or my comments, just more on the format. And I don't, excuse me, I don't know if it merits change, but just notice how the city manager format has different sections, 4.02. Really, that entire section is not mentioned for any of the other positions. But, just as an example for the city attorney, city clerk, it doesn't kind of highlight appointment, compensation, evaluation, removal. That was the only kind of discrepancy, but just, difference.
So what, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I guess instead of, a couple options, maybe add it to each section, or maybe, instead of appointment, removal, and compensation of city manager, maybe we can make it more broad, whether it's city staff or city elected officials.
But doesn't the city manager, they're responsible for those, review, so to speak, the city clerk and so forth, correct?
No, the city manager, the city attorney, and the city clerk are evaluated
By
by
the council.
by the council as being all charter officials. What some cities do is they have a provision that says the city manager, city clerk, city attorney, and in some cities, an internal city auditor, like Tarpon Springs. They would say that these things would apply: appointment, compensation, evaluation, and removal. It would be all covered together and not just in the one section that you've addressed. So it can be done either by adding that language
At 4.01?
below to city attorney and city clerk, if you want to do that. Or just move this around a little bit to have it, to take it out completely out of 402 and move it down below city clerk, for example, and just relabel it appointment, removal, and compensation of charter officials.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it applies to all of those charter official positions. I would say too. I believe it does.
Okay, so we're adding that under 4.06 then, correct? Moving it from.
We just, renumber it.
Renumber it.
Renumber
okay.
it. It would be, since we're renumber the rest of them, I guess it would be 4.06.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. Kelly, Rochelle, do you have anything?
Well, on 3.08, it mentions the same thing as it does in 4.01 regarding the city manager. Is that the same language or?
3.08?
Oh, yeah.
To be appointed and removed by 3/5 of the vote. And then under 4.01, it says again, the council may remove the city manager by 3/5 vote of the council. So I just wondered if
Yeah.
that was the same thing.
It is the same
I
thing.
think so, yeah. So now we can just, probably just get rid of 4.02 altogether. It's there.
Well, 3.08 does not talk about compensation.
Right, it's just
Oh, I'm
talking about the,
It says the pleasure for such compensation
Yeah.
may be set by city council, so that's there too. Does it talk about evaluation? No.
Or removal?
Well, it says appointed or removed
Oh, there it is.
under
Okay.
3.08. So the only thing it doesn't cover is evaluation. So maybe you just want to
Add
change,
an evaluation into 3.08 and then remove the whole section?
either that or just change this to 4.02 as evaluation of the city manager. Because it's, everything else is already covered under 3.08.
Okay.
So, Title 4.02, Evaluation of City Manager.
Of s-
Because the other thing is, unless we're gonna do evaluation of charter officials. Because 3.08 covers it for,
Charter official. So go back to just evaluation of city manager. And then remove A, B, and D, correct?
Right, since it's
Okay.
under 3.8.
Want me to repeat that, Ann? You got that?
I think I have that. So we're gonna keep 4.02 where it is, change it to evaluation of city manager, and remove A, B, and D.
Correct.
Good catch.
Anything else on section 4? All right. Kelly, we move to you on section 5, finance.
I didn't have a whole lot. I just would like to ask a couple questions for clarification. In 502, the city council shall have the power from time to time during any fiscal year after adoption of the annual budget to reappropriate. Is this done just as things come up? Or are there times, like from time to time, what does that mean? Just as it comes up, it's taken care of and then reported the next year with the annual budget report?
There are budget changes. The way it works is that normally there's a resolution reflecting a budget change. So for example, usually we'll have one about a month or 2 months. It has to be done within 60 days of the close of the budget year. So within 60 days of the end of the budget year, so for like by November, whatever, 30th, you'll have your first one. And then usually there's one more during the year. Some cities have them every month because they're not budgeting properly. But here, that's not an issue, obviously. So it's usually twice a year that they do it. That's from time to time.
Okay.
It may be more than that, but usually it's twice.
Okay. The other part, and maybe it's just me, because I'm not a finance wizard, but 5.05, let me just read that real quick. The city council shall by ordinance adopt such procedures and limitations for the purchase of materials, machinery, etc., or whatever else the council deems necessary, which exceed in value that amount as council shall determine from time to time.
Right.
Now, I don't understand what that means.
It's basically is that the city council will adopt a provision for their code of ordinances that would reflect what happens during or for certain purchases. And I think that we have a provision in the code that talks about that. Just see if I can find it. Do you know what it is off the top of your head, Ann? Purchasing?
No, I don't. I know the amount is like 25,000, but I don't know
That rings a bell
where it
too.
is in the ordinance.
Let me just look in the back of the code book and see if I can find it for you real quick.
And it could be something a little different where they adopt, in the ordinance, it says they adopt the finance policies and the finance policies get revised by resolution.
So it's under 2-101 of the city code, and I'll just read that to you. Oh, it's long. So I'm not gonna read it for you, but,
Okay, thank you.
but it's titled, Policies and Procedures. It's under Division 2 Purchasing. And it says the following policies and procedures regarding the purchasing of materials, machinery, construction, consultant service, and rental of property hereby established in accordance with section 5.05 of the charter. And it lists all the different things. And so for items that cost less than $2,000, it may be purchased by phone call or a contract between the purchasing agent and supplier based upon the buyer's experience and knowledge. Items between $2,000 and $25,000 will be purchased by the purchasing agent requesting quotations by the use of requests for quotation forms, RFQs. Items exceeding $25,000 will be subjected to advertised bidding. Advertised bid openings will be held promptly at the time and date specified in the advertisement. The city manager will secure city council approval for the purchases which have not been previously approved by the council through budgetary action, and will notify the purchasing department and concerning preparation of purchase orders and notification of bidders, and so on. So that's basically, that charter provision is saying that to create this. And this was changed quite a few times over the years. I'm looking at it, originally it was adopted in 1980, there were changes in 94, 98, 2003, 2009. So it's updated on, not on a yearly basis, but on some
As
regular basis.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's what that's referring to under 5.05 of the charter.
Okay, thank you. I just that didn't make sense to me. And I thought if it doesn't to me, it might not to others, you know? That's all I really had. And from time to time for that one again is just periodically when it's needed. I didn't have anything else.
Did anyone else have comments on section 5?
Under conflict of interest, it just mentions spouse or child. How far out of that group would you go? Would you change that at all? Brother, sister, parent?
It's covered under a state statute, 112.313, and it's the conflict of interest statute. There are a lot of regulations other than what is there that govern all the activities of city officials, city employees.
So it's more of an unwritten code than,
It's a state statute.
okay,
Yeah.
that doesn't have to be mentioned in the charter.
I mean, you could change the charter to reflect the conflict of interest will be in accordance with state statute, if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to change it different than this. So, and I'm gonna give you an example as to what 112.313 says, because it picks up others than just a spouse and a child.
A walking encyclopedia.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
All right, I'm almost there. Okay, so 112.313 is titled Standards of Conduct for Public Officials, Employees of Agencies, and Local Government Attorneys. And there's a provision called doing business with one's agency, that's paragraph 3, that kind of covers some of the stuff that's in 5.06. And I'm just gonna read it to you. It's titled Doing Business with One's Agency. No employee of an agency acting in his or her official capacity as a purchasing agent or public officer acting in his or her official capacity shall either directly or indirectly purchase, rent, or lease any realty, goods, or services for his or her own agency from any business entity of which the officer or employee or the officer or employee's spouse or child is an officer, partner, director, or proprietor, or in which such officer or employee or officer or employee's spouse or child or any combination of them has a material interest, nor shall any public officer or employee acting in a private capacity rent, lease, or sell any realty, goods, or services to the officer or employee's own agency if he or she is a state officer or employee, or to any political subdivision or any agency thereof if he or she is serving as an officer or employee of that political subdivision. The foregoing shall not apply to district offices maintained by legislators when such offices are located in the legislator's place of business, or when such offices are on property wholly or partially owned by the legislator. This subsection shall not affect or be construed to prohibit contracts entered into prior to October 1, 1975, and so on. So that is really what this provision is talking about. And then there is a conflict of interest statute besides that one. Let me just go back to the title page here. Under 112, 3143, it's called voting conflicts. And it says, because this is where it picks up others. No county, municipal, or other local public officer shall vote in any official capacity upon any measure which would inure to his or her special private gain or loss, or which he or she knows would inure to the private special gain or loss of any principal by whom he or she is retained, or to a parent organization or subsidiary of a corporate principal for which he or she is retained, other than agency defined in 112.312, or which he or she knows would inure to the special private gain or loss of a relative or a business associate of the public officer. So, and there's other information there, but that picks up relative, so that obviously that's more than a spouse or a child. And under the definition of relative in the same section, it says relative means any father, mother, son, daughter, husband, wife, brother, sister, father-in-law, mother-in-law, son-in-law, or daughter-in-law. So it picks up quite a few. So back to your question about whether or not, you know, should we add any additional people here? I mean, that's up to you, or whether or not you want to change it to reflect that it should be in compliance with state statute. And then it picks up, whenever that statute changes, it'll always be whatever the current statute is.
Okay, thank you.
So,
So do we want to add that verbiage? Basically, would we eliminate the entire thing, Tom, and then just basically say conflict of interest, you know,
council members and employees of the city shall comply with Florida State Statute
Right.
112.313, or just say Florida statutes in relation to doing business with the city, something like that.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean,
no, I mean,
there's a big
it
problem with that, but.
it's referring back to that anyway, and that's what he's saying, and so you might as well, like what he said, the most important thing is when that changes, this automatically changes. It doesn't require
Adding
going
more.
back and changing it again because that statute, it automatically would, because we're stating it's following that as a document, so I think that it's cleaner that way.
So do you want me to
Yes,
change this? Okay.
yes. No council member or employee of the city shall either direct receipt, and then, wait a minute, shall comply with Florida statute, and you'll add the,
So I would suggest council members and employees of the city shall comply with Florida statute 112.313. And maybe in relation to
there's
doing
another
business with the city. I'll clean that up when it comes back to you, so it give you some options on how you want to do that, but
And
that's
there's
kind
also
of,
another bit on the back page, there's a little bit more. The performance of their public duties and would impede and just.
yeah, see, this is picking up another subparagraph of that 112.313 when it talks about contractual relationships, employment and contractual relationships too.
So again, we wouldn't have to worry because it picks it all up, correct? Okay.
Is that the same, like in the event of a violation, is that the same as the Florida statute, that they are removed from office?
So, if the Commission on Ethics was to determine that there was a violation of 112.313, there would be an investigation by the Commission on Ethics, and ultimately they can do several different things. One would be a public reprimand, one would be a fine, usually it's a fine, and removal from office. So, If you want me to address that here too, I mean, in the last paragraph. So I would suggest these first two paragraphs basically pick up 112.313. So we can take away in doing relationship with one business and just comply with it outright. And then as to the violation aspect of it, I'll just read you the section that they have, if there's a violation, hang on. See if it's right in that statute.
Well, I guess it's addressed here, because it says in questions of interpretation. So we'd go back to that anyway.
Yeah, the last sentence, yeah, questions of interpretation of this section, the rulings and opinions of the State Florida Commission may be used.
Okay, so that can stay then.
Okay. Anything else in section 5? And you got the verbiage right, Ann?
Yep.
You're set, okay.
I'm just gonna clean it up.
Huh? And Tom's gonna clean it up? Yes, he
Yep.
All right. Next item on our agenda is assigned discussion items. I think we had done that previously when we said Brian and Paula would pick up when they come back for the July meeting. So we'll just move Paula and Brian to that meeting. And next item is excuse absence for Sean for the May 3rd, 2021 Charter Review Committee. Have a motion to approve?
Approved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. You're excused.
You can vote. That's a 4-0 vote. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Our next meeting is Monday, July 12th here. May I have a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone.